All right, and one of the most exciting events tonight is 9.3. This is the ElectroMotion agreement, and Tom Day, if you could take us through this and explain what's happening.
Yes, Council looked at this back late last year that ElectroMotion and Jai proposed a trial project for Summerland wherein they'd install 10 Revolution units to individual residents in Summerland and use that as a trial so that we could see how that impacted a number of things. So first of all, we saw it as a green power option in that it's producing power as an offshoot of heating. And so otherwise the heat is just wasted into the atmosphere, and in this case it's turned into electricity to power homes and even potentially go back into the grid, and we use it as power for other homes. So we're excited about that. The second item that excites me, I guess, as someone who came from the end of the power line, is just the whole opportunity to have an instrument such as this, wherein when the power goes out, when you have hundreds of giant trees fall across power lines between you and the station, and you're out of power for 5 days in the coldest days of winter. If I had one of these things when I was living in Souk at the time, it would have made my life a whole pile easier. I think the biggest, most exciting thing for Summerland is, in fact, that Jai's vision is that this is the world capital of ElectroMotion, and that he's going to like Zia is going to invest in our community, and I think this really has a lot of potential. I know he's got a lot of interest as he keeps us all informed. Yeah, so when the power went out the other day, I knew Jai was going to text me, and I had it in like 5 seconds. No, I think we're really excited about the agreement. The three of us and Don Darling have gone through the agreement. We're satisfied that the community is safeguarded, and we're really excited to recommend to Council that Council authorize this agreement and let Jai get to work.
Can you tell us about the cost to the community? And
it's very minimal. I think we agreed to pay for the two-way meters, which I think is about $300, and we've agreed on an even flow-through of power. We'll pay retail rates, whether they're buying or selling to us, and so minor cost, particularly in relation to the investment in terms of an economic development opportunity for Summerland.
Okay. Any other comments to make before?
Nothing.
Okay. Now, if Council will so permit, I'd like to have Jai just explain a little bit more about this. It's 5 minutes. Yes, come up to the lectern, and if you could. And for those of you who don't know, when was it that we did that announcement? When was that down at Ian's house? When did we do that? How many years ago was that?
January 3 years ago.
Yes, that was January 2 years ago.
Whole day. And,
yes.
And it has taken this long to get here. But, this could have happened in any other community across the country, and you picked Summerland. So thank goodness for...
And thank you for your support and perseverance.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Sure, absolutely. So, as Tom was explaining, the revolution is really all started when the power went out, coincidentally, several years ago here, when our main transformer blew up. And, of course, it was the coldest day of the year, and that started the chain of events in terms of there's got to be a better solution here. And from there, it's basically developed into the revolution where we're able to produce, according to, say, United States Department of Energy, electricity 3 times more efficient than anything ever in, say, United States of the world. Because it's a byproduct of generating heat, which is really the type of energy we all really need and use. We die if we don't have it, and we have too much, we do the same thing. So as I had basically discussions today with the Northwest Territory Speaker of Legislature, Jackie Jacobson, and he's pushing hard for Revolution homes. That's another sort of off-take of the actual revolution, but he sees it as being very, very key and critical to his people's well-being, and not just cost savings and such, but this just has to happen, right? And so everybody here are revolutionists. If I may...
if you would, please.
Please, yes. I'd like to start with Harry McWaters, the chairman of my board. He's here today, and I also have my other board member, Patrick Rose,
nice to
in
have
the
you,
back
Patrick.
there, and many other supporters, both investors, customers, everyone who's been pulling, rowing with me, as well as you two, everyone right here. It's all great.
How long do you think it will be before you sort of, we know this is going to be successful, that I'm not worried about. How long will it take before you know that for sure and can move to the next phase?
Right, so the pilot project is really all about demonstration and vetting out the Revolution. So we're going to use it as an opportunity to develop a utilization model, vet out the technology, prove it out, improve on it as well, and capture data in a collaborative manner so that we can all work together and improve it and everybody benefits. Because according as you saw in the numbers and statistics the utility here provided us, the financial benefits are quite substantial, not only the economic output for creating jobs and here as well as around the world, I believe. So once we're through maybe a year and a half, I'm thinking two winters, right, to prove out, capture the data, and then we can extrapolate from there and prove out the model whether or not we're bang on or maybe better off and tweak it from there and go. And so then that data that we're going to capture is going to essentially show us how many revolutions we require here in Summerland to essentially affect our peak demand and save, the millions of dollars in energy that we expect to do.
How long will it take you to put the 10 in?
Pardon me?
How long will it take you to put the 10 units in?
Well, like the speaker was asked me today, he was demanding 10 revolutions up north this summer.
Tell him to wait his turn.
So,
Summerland's first.
It's all kind of coming at once.
Good.
We're looking at having it in by this coming heating season, so this fall. So we're looking to push for that. We're already tapped out in terms of individuals that have stepped forward and have a waiting list, so that's great as to who would be wanting to participate. So.
Excellent. Are you up for some questions? Up for some questions?
Sure, if anybody has questions.
Councillor Christopherson?
I remember when you came in front of the previous council quite a few years ago. Since then, for lack of a better word, you've gone through several renovations.
Yeah, the evolution of the revolution.
And so, yes. And so, do you feel right now that you've reached the end product now?
Yeah, so it's at the point right now where we've just signed on a major international engineering firm to help us basically, because right up until now it's like Jai kind of going like that, thinking that'll work, right? And so we're really engineering it properly, and as well as a design firm and such. So what we have right now that is working, it's just again, we've built it, and when it does operate, it's like woohoo, like pretty far out, but then. It stops because, we didn't tighten this wire enough, right, kind of thing. So we're just about there, and I'm very, very bullish on being able to deliver for this fall.
That's great.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
It's good, isn't it? Councillor Robson, Waterman and Hacking.
Thank you, Your Worship. Jai, when does the power go back into the grid?
Right, so how it operates really is you get what you need at your home. So it's always default. The site installation is to reduce the demand from upstream on the system. So when you go into a heat cycle for hot water or space heat, the generator, essentially a thermal generator, because most of the energy gets converted to heat from natural gas. So when you're in heat mode, that's when you're creating electricity at the same time. And that surplus electrical energy that you don't use, it's like water pressure. The utility, actually, your neighbors start to draw upon that energy surplus. So when you go into heat cycle, you essentially disappear from the utility side, like go off grid, and your surplus gets utilized and used by your neighbor.
Now, if you understand all that, I'm impressed.
So basically, it's not generating power for my neighbor. It's just taking the power that I would have used and relocating it to the neighbor.
That's correct. It's really push-pull. It's like water pressure. When you have more pressure, i.e. more electricity, then the pressure gets drawn on from your neighbors because it's a natural push-pull. And that's really why a lot of our utilities, grids, are all interconnected. You hear about the grids being interconnected because electricity can be generated from the other side of the country but actually consumed, zip across here, right here. It's amazing energy, but it's quite a sharp sort of two-sided sword, if you will, because it's a push-pull, and if you don't have the balance correct, then you have brownouts and blackouts. If too much demand, not enough generation and distribution. And that's really where the revolution shines, because peak demand, that's like rush hour traffic, really occurs only 30% in a 24-hour cycle. And so our whole energy system has, just like our highways and bridges, rush hour traffic, but late at night you go and there's nobody on there, but you're still paying for it, right? And that's the idea behind the revolution, is instead of generated far, far away centrally and distributed to us here, we're generating it locally, collaboratively, at a 3-to-1 advantage. Because now you don't have to transmit it, no rush hour traffic. We're all kind of, collaborating together.
Okay. Councillor Waterman?
Thank you, Worship. Evening, Jai. It's good to see this thing move along to this next stage, and Northwest Territories can wait. So can
We're so selfish here, aren't we?
so can Toronto, because we keep hearing about the massive blackouts.
Just
back
came
there.
from Dallas, too.
Oh, really?
That's another story.
But this sort of thing is certainly going to, if it's successful, will move ahead, and I think it'll be tremendous demand. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Councillor Hacking?
Just a quick one. What's your current manufacturing capacity?
Well, it's not up to speed yet. And flogging the troops, so to speak, right, to get things moving. Really what we're doing is getting our act together, getting our processes involved, and preparing for this project now. So we've assumed we would be successful in moving forward, and so that's what we've done, and looking forward now to essentially be able to deliver, once we're up and going, about 3 a week we could probably produce.
Okay. Councillor Christopherson?
Right now, you're looking at 1 unit per house. Is that correct?
Yes, for this pilot project, correct. So 10 single detached homes.
Is there any possibility, because I was just thinking of what we talked about here, was a very dense neighborhood, very confined.
A
Townhouses.
multi-unit dwelling, like a fourplex or something, you mean?
Or like a townhouse kind of setting, or like a small strata?
Would there be a possibility of having one for maybe 3 or 4 units? Because even though it's bigger, it would cut down the initial costs for each.
Well, it's a very conventional thinking, what you're referring to and thinking. You need more, so you go bigger. Our real advantage is thinking the reverse, whereby going smaller individually, you gain these efficiencies that aren't really sort of obvious, and then collaboratively they are producing actually more than one bigger unit. It's easy because of our current electrical infrastructure to share electrical energy through that push-pull, but it's very difficult to share thermal energy, heat.
Okay.
And statistically, it's almost like 75–80% of the energy we actually consume is heat-related. You would have to, say, put pipelines underneath, but connecting in the ground, right, to each home to share the heat, which is, again, infrastructure. Plus, you'd have to fight the earth because it would want that heat, too. Naturally, it tries to suck it up. So electrical energy is easy to transmit. The infrastructure is already in place. We don't need to really do anything on that side to really make the revolution shine.
Good.
Okay. Would someone like to put the motion on the table? Councillor Van Alphen?
Thank you, Worship. The Council authorized the District of Summerland entering into the attached agreement with ElectroMotion Energy Corporation, and that the Mayor and Corporate Officer be authorized to execute the agreement.
Seconder, please. Thank you. Second.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments from you? Anything else that you want? We're hoping
Well,
to...
like last time, afterwards, there's a little celebratory, everyone's invited, and it's at my home.
Just to sign this, will be
Okay.
treated
So
up.
before you leave the building, though, we are going to,
Sign.
Absolutely.
Sign. All right.
Maybe I should just come up there right now?
No, not just yet, not just yet. Yeah, we'll wait until the end of the meeting. But I just wanted to say, because my neighbor has one of these units, so I've been able to watch Jai over the last couple of years. I guess it's been a couple of years that
Yes.
it's been there, and to watch what he's been doing for my neighbor, to see how involved this has been. And I have never ever met anybody who works as hard or as long hours, whether it's 2 a.m. or 10 o'clock in the morning. You're there to check it and recheck it, and I'm so impressed. And you know someone's going to be successful when you see their work ethic like that. I'm just so impressed with you, Jai, and I just can't begin to tell you how proud we are of you, and that
Thank you.
this is at Summerland, and you've got such a great team, and so many of your supporters here, and I just see success written all over this. And guess what? Success will have Summerland at the end of it, so that's...
Yes, well, the tagline will be "The revolution started here," right?
Good,
Thank you.
exactly. All right, I'm going to call the question then, unless there's any other comments. All those in favor? No one's opposed. Motion is carried unanimously, so we'll stay on, and the meeting's almost over. So, well done, John. Well done. You did it. And thank you to Tom Day for working so hard, because I know that you had a lot to do with it. And Jeremy and Laura, yeah, it took a long time, and that was great. It's all right. You can. They'll take the credit later on. Don't you worry. I certainly would if I were them. It's good news.